Welcome to Living Life and Love. I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a global vitiligo awareness and education podcast. You will hear the true and authentic stories from people living with vitiligo. You'll also hear from their loved ones, medical professionals, licensed mental health therapists, relationship counselors, global vitiligo support foundations and organizations, community leaders, and so much more. Sit back and enjoy Living Life and Love. Once again, I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hey, what is going on, good people? It's your girl, Partice. Thank you guys so much for hanging out right here on the Partice Radio Show. It is time to talk about one of the things that I am now passionate about, that I've learned so much about, and I have found out that there are some family members in my family that also has vitiligo. So definitely want to invite one of my guests, Mark and Chris. Maybe she'll join back in with us, but welcome to the show, Mark.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Partice. We greatly appreciate it, giving us the opportunity to talk about vitiligo awareness and education. Katrina will be back. I know she was having some technical difficulties with her connection, so she'll be back. You know, we always come back.
Yeah, definitely want to come back. So for the listeners that are new, just finding out about vitiligo and about Mark, tell them a little bit about your journey.
Wow. Vitiligo is different for every person, and my journey actually started about, I always say 26 years ago, and it seems like I never go higher than that. Right. Katrina's back with us, and with it hasn't spread as much as some other people, but it's starting to spread again. Like underneath my neck, there was one white spot I had for years, and now it's starting to creep up into my chin, start to spread around my mouth a little bit more. I'm not sure if you can see it. Start to get a spot under my eye right here. And of course, this gray patch here it's gray, but it's vitiligo gray. There's a vitiligo patch right here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought it was just gray. It's vitiligo.
Okay. It's a little bit of both, huh?
It's everything.
Katrina, thanks for joining us back. I know you were having some trouble, but welcome back to the Partice Radio Show, and welcome as well. I was telling Mark, that this has now become one of the things that I am now passionate about. I found out that I do have some family members in my family that also have vitiligo, and that you guys have made me more aware of what it is. So he was telling us a little bit about his journey. Would you like to share with the listeners your journey as well?
Well, I was diagnosed with vitiligo in 2012. So currently, my vitiligo has progressed. So what you see on my face now is all the pigmentation that I pretty much have left. I do have a couple spots, pigment on the back of both of my legs, but pretty much the pigment that you see on my face is only what I have left. So it has progressed a lot over the years.
And of course, I will not have you on the show without talking about your video and your book. Talk about that as well.
So I was involved in a documentary. The name of the documentary is More Than Our Skin. It included 5 women. It actually tells the stories and our journeys, and how we dealt with vitiligo, and how we were able to overcome some obstacles. The actual documentary can be seen on YouTube. Again, it's More Than Our Skin. It's got a lot of awards, and it's got a lot of recognition. So now I was very, very honored to be a part of that documentary.
Well deserved for you as well. And thank you also for sharing, you and Mark, for sharing your journey. Thank you for at least, I think Mark and I had a talk, and I said, I remember when I first started, I was so nervous because I couldn't even hardly say vitiligo. I was like, look, I don't even want to mispronounce it. And now that I've learned so much about it, that I want to share with the listeners. So thank you guys for always asking me to do this. It's a pleasure and an honor. So I want to talk a little bit about Vitiligo Awareness and Education Month. Why did you guys decide to change it?
Well, we decided to change it. First of all, Mark has been wanting to change it for a few years now. So I thought it best that we go ahead and do that this year. And the reason why we wanted to change it is because, a lot of people are now aware of vitiligo. So now we thought it's time to put some education behind it. Mattel has created some Barbie fashionistas. They actually have 3. And then also Lego has actually created some Lego parts with vitiligo. So people are aware. There are a lot of models now. There are a lot of people that are just, they're more acceptable now. So now it's time to put some education behind it.
Yeah. And of course, Mark, you have a lot of recognition I want to give you. I gave something to Katrina. I don't want to forget you.
Not a problem.
But you have done a lot as far as vitiligo for the men, and you have some special things that you've done in the past. You want to share those with us as well?
Yes, I'll also host a podcast for the vitiligo community. It used to be through VitFriends, and then I took a break and I decided to come back and start hosting my show via YouTube. And it gives me an opportunity to truly talk to people, and not just with vitiligo, people from all walks of life, different backgrounds. And part of that experience or journey is to show people that we're just like everybody else. We're normal. We do the same things you do. We make good choices. We make bad choices, but we just look different when we do these things. And that's what we really want people to understand about vitiligo. Yes, as Katrina said, people are aware, but now it's time for us to educate people and teach them.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I've noticed since I've been interviewing you guys and following vitiligo, um, that is the confidence for a lot of people with vitiligo has definitely increased now that people are aware, now that the education is now starting. So now that you guys have your community and you guys have more or less given us the rundown of what vitiligo is. And for those who may not be familiar with what it is, can you guys share what it is and who's affected?
Well, vitiligo is a disease, and out on this particular podcast or interview, I'm going to say disease because it is interchangeable depending on the setting and who we're talking to. But in this setting, I am going to say it is a disease that causes white patches or blotches in the skin. It is considered an autoimmune disease, and it's attacking the melanocytes, the pigment cells of our skin.
And it's not contagious. we have to say that because when people hear disease, they go, "Oh my gosh, can I get it?" No, you can't. You can't catch vitiligo. We can't touch you and turn you white. We don't have power like that. No, it does not work.
And of course, you guys have shared in the past that sun definitely is a factor. Going into summertime, you have to be careful, use certain sunscreen. Is it the heat, or is it just the sun that burns you? Or what's the difference between that being outside?
Well,
go ahead,
go ahead, Katrina. Oh, see, that's how we do. We pass it back and forth. I think the experience is going to be different for each person. I know for myself, after an hour, I'm not going to test that theory. What happens beyond that?
Okay.
Then again, I still have more pigmentation in my body than somebody, say like Katrina. So she may not be able to be outside for a long period of time. You mentioned the heat. And I've asked somebody else in the community, do they experience extreme heat? Like if I go outside, my body temperature rises. And I think a part of that, and I'm going to find out from some of the dermatologists if they know any information, because we don't have the melanocytes to block the sun rays. Mm-hmm. Does that instantly heat up our bodies? Because I can go outside for like 20 minutes and I'm like, man, it's hot, even if it's just 80 degrees. And I feel like that heat just stays inside my body.
So like a hot flash? Is it like a hot flash?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. I would equivalent to a hot flash or a man flash, whatever you want to call it. But it's a weird feeling because some people don't experience that. Mm-hmm. But I had to make sure I wasn't going crazy because I'm like, man, I feel extremely hot when I go outside. But, when I think about my skin, it's not blocking the sun rays.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, I can't stay in the sun very long at all. And the reason being is because, we don't tan, we burn.
Right.
So it's like getting a sunburn. So, I used to love the summertime. I don't like it as much as I used to because of that. And I will say that the reason why we don't see it as much in the winter, or it's not noticeable as much in the wintertime for our Caucasian friends, is because in the summertime it's burning, so it's more pronounced on them in the summertime than it is in the wintertime.
Yeah, the white skin turns red.
Right.
Yeah, so you'll notice, like, if I take my kids outside for recess, sometimes they'll say, "Why is your skin so red?" Well, I have nothing to protect me except for sunscreen, and it still can burn with the sunscreen. Like, you got to keep applying. So I do have to be mindful of my interactions outside, and the people around me. I think is very important for the community to understand. And I'm not talking about the vitiligo community, but other people, that if someone with vitiligo says, "I can't be outside like that," trust them, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And support them on that, because you could put somebody at risk by having them outside.
Yeah. And with all that being said, there are different types. You were talking about earlier about vitiligo. You want to discuss those or share those?
Yes, there's at least 8 different identified types of vitiligo. And that was according to the last conference I went to, and that was in Atlanta. But they said they're still trying to identify other types. And I'm like, how many more types can we get? So there's focal, which I can have it, let's say, just on one spot on my cheek. Maybe that's it. And it's not going to be anywhere else. Then there's acrofacial, which is pretty much only on the face. Then we have mucosal, which is, this one is a little more personal for people because it can appear in the mucous membranes, which could be in the nasal passages, the mouth, or the private areas. So that one's a little more personal. Trichome, which is interesting. As you hear, 3 different colors. You have your regular color, then you have a lighter color, then you have your white pigmentation, depigmentation. That one I find interesting because sometimes I'll look at my skin like, oh, I've got Neapolitan flavors going on here. It's vitiligo. It's just one of the weird things. Then you have confetti, which with confetti, it's just small spots all over your body, but eventually they'll merge together into bigger spots.
Okay.
And I have confetti as well. That was something new identified around COVID. Now, I don't know why, but I guess with the stress of not knowing, the body's doing something different now. Now, Katrina has universal vitiligo. That means she's lost at least 70 to 100% of her pigmentation. And that one is not as common. However, we're starting to see more people with universal. There's segmental vitiligo, where you can have it only on one side of the body and never crosses over, which is kind of interesting when you see somebody with segmental, but it goes up their face, meaning one side has no pigmentation, eyebrows white here. If they have facial hair is white, maybe on this side of the hair is white, but the other side just normal. It's interesting. And what I have is generalized, and I always say, like, spot it like a cheetah. Because you have spots all over the body. There's no one particular place. But what's interesting about vitiligo, normally what's on one side of the body is similar to what's on the other side. So you can almost put them together and see how they favor, although I have more spots on this side, but if you notice the elbows, and those are the different types. But people can have multiple types. You just don't get one, you can have multiple types. So.
And there's really no age limit,
No.
because Katrina said she was, you don't have to tell your age, Katrina, but it's in 2012 when you were diagnosed. So there's really no age that you can start developing vitiligo on that as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. I was 52 when I was diagnosed.
And so you find mid-20s.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just saying I was in my mid-20s, so you can see.
So do you find as a kid having it as an adult I know you guys are very passionate about kids with vitiligo. Do you find it as a kid it's easier to grow with it, or to be diagnosed at a older age?
I think it all depends on the child support system. If you have a strong family support system, school support system, that child's going to be okay. Will they have their moments? Yes. At my school, I have a few kids with vitiligo. We have parents and, of course, grandparents, because Katrina is a grandparent at my school. But I also provide vitiligo support, and information. And I think that's the biggest step that we need to take, is their education. Because if there's a child in the school that doesn't have that support, they may get bullied. And if they get bullied, they can contact us. This is only in North Carolina. I'm not traveling to another state. But if they need support, we would do presentations to let people know that child is okay.
Yeah.
It just look different. That's all.
Here's why you were so passionate of adding Vitiligo Awareness and Education Month. For June is still the month that you recognize it, and purple is still the color. Is that changing? Or is it green the color? I'm sorry.
Purple.
Purple, okay. All right. Okay, I see your purple, Mark.
That little purple.
Okay.
I think Katrina might be wearing purple also. I can't.
Okay.
Yep, there we go.
I should have had my purple on. I knew that. I knew that, right?
That's okay.
See,
That's okay.
I've been listening. You guys ought to be proud of me. I've been learning. Hey, family, if you just tuned in, it's your girl Partice hanging out right here on the Partice Radio Show. We are talking about Vitiligo Awareness Month, and you guys may have a family member, or you yourself may have experienced vitiligo. You want to know more information, I'm going to allow you to connect with my special guest hanging out in just a moment. But there seems to be more advertising, social media. Even you can turn on the TV now, you can see about some type of medicine now for vitiligo. What do you claim that cure to vitiligo, and what can you tell us about those claims?
Well,
ahead,
yeah, we tend to see more, people trying to sell creams and lotions and other products and claiming that it will cure vitiligo. Those are false claims. There is currently no cure for vitiligo. We've actually had to shut down a couple of companies or people that are trying to sell the product, claiming that it's going to cure vitiligo, and it's not the case.
Right.
So we just have to tell people, do your research, ask the questions. If this is a cure for vitiligo, was there a research study involved? Who were the people that were participated in the clinical trials? And other questions you can ask to get the answers. And when you ask those questions, you will not get the answers.
Right.
Yeah, you won't get anything. And I can tell you what's interesting. It really ramped up in June. And I think the algorithm of the computers and all this stuff, software said, oh, vitiligo. So if you shop on any of those online stores, the one that starts with T, rhymes with Mew, there's that one, I'm not going to say the name. But if you go on it, I get ads all the time for vitiligo cream and the cure for vitiligo. And I'm like, no, guys, this is false, And then on the book as well, there's always this ad for this cream, vitiligo cure, and all this stuff. I'm like, no, it's not a cure. Even if there's something out there that works for you, it's still not a cure. It's a treatment, and a treatment, I often say, you have to use for the rest of your life. And sometimes if you stop, it'll come back stronger. And real quick, if you don't mind me saying, in terms of treatment, people have to realize too, it's designed to be treated in small areas. So sometimes when we think treatment, I can just put it all over. No, you got to be careful with that. Follow the doctor's prescriptions. They say put it on in small areas. Yes, you may get some repigmentation in the area, but don't expect to put it all over your body like lotion and be like, I'm cured. No, it doesn't work like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And do you guys have any, I know you travel a lot, Mark, Katrina, do you have any conferences coming up, any special events that's coming up for the rest of this year?
Yes, we do have the World Vitiligo Day conference happening actually on next week. in Tampa, Florida. I will be attending the conference this year, and I'm looking forward to reconnecting with some people I haven't seen in a while and making some new friends as well. It's going to be great.
And unfortunately, I will not be able to make it. I have to work.
So, okay.
I got to make money. I got to pay bills. That doesn't change. But next year, I plan to be there. I'll make sure I plan things out. And with our community, we just had an event in Charlotte. It was a paint and fellowship event that Gilda Ann hosted. And it was a nice turnout of people that wanted to know more about vitiligo. And it's great because that's what we want. We want the community to come to us and say, I want to learn more.
Yes.
And we'll teach you. And then we have a luncheon coming up on Saturday for the vitiligo community and others that want to join us. It's a great opportunity to see us as people. That's what we want.
And people love to eat. Speaking of that, go ahead, Mark.
No, I forgot something, but I'm not going to say it. Katrina, you want to share about tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but tomorrow, which is the 18th of June, we're going to be going on the My Carolina show on CBS 17 to be interviewed for Vitiligo Awareness and Education Month. So that's
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Katrina.
Yeah. So we're excited about that as well.
I'm excited about that. You guys, I just want to encourage both of you and the whole community. You guys have put in a lot of work. I've seen the growth. I've seen you guys stay consistent and believing in what you guys are doing in the community, not just vitiligo, but outside, and to get people embraced and passionate about it as you are, because you just never know if I see someone in the airport or somewhere, who I can just let them know that I can feel comfortable talking to them, let them share with them what I know about it and help them feel comfortable. So that's one of the things that I appreciate about you guys as well, by sharing the awareness and education. But I was going to say, there's not any particular food that you're not supposed to eat or anything like that at that luncheon, Mark.
No, you eat whatever you're comfortable eating, and make sure it feels to your soul, your body. And then if you not supposed to eat something, you go talk to your doctor about
that. Right.
I'm just messing with Mark. Y'all. Just because,
But that's a real thing, because I've had somebody say, oh, well, if you stop eating this, your color will come back. Guys, listen. Vitiligo is autoimmune, and there are a couple of different things that could be happening, but some of the triggers could be stress. It could be, as we say, autoimmunity. It could be trauma induced. I don't think I've ever heard of someone eating, some greens and developing vitiligo, or eating some strawberry cake or some chicken or whatever they're going to eat. I never heard of that. But people, I call them Facebook physicians. They will come to you with all these different solutions to everything. And I'm thinking, when did you study medicine? When did you study diseases? Right. And that's what they'll do. People will give you everything in the world, what you can and cannot do. I know everybody knows somebody that has that was healed from vitiligo. Everybody. Like, for real? Okay. I mean, how did it happen? Oh, I really don't know, but they were healed from vitiligo. Okay, all right, cool. Not to say we're never going to find a cure, but you got to be careful of what people put out there to the community.
Yes.
And it really could be that they were actually healed or cured from vitiligo, because vitiligo can go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You can regain pigmentation. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are cured. It just means that you have regained pigmentation.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, Katrina, because one of the things I think we have to remember, vitiligo is the name of the autoimmune disease that we have. The results of having an autoimmune disease, when it attacks the melanocytes, are the white patches. That's the results of it. So if you repigment, you still have vitiligo in your system. It didn't go away. It just repigmented. It's not attacking those cells, and somehow you regenerate it. So I think we have to be mindful of sometimes how we word things and what we say, because vitiligo doesn't just go away like, oh, don't have it anymore. No, it can lay dormant in your body, and then next 5 years from now it may ramp up again.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hope you listeners, everyone, we're encouraged by my special guest today. Drop your social media, drop your social media and let the listeners follow you there for more information on vitiligo.
Well, we're located on Facebook, the North Carolina Vitiligo Support Community. We also have an email address, which is ncvsc2002@gmail.com.
And then if you want to learn a little bit more about people with vitiligo, you can always go to YouTube. I do have a show called Living Life and Love. And once you go there, you see me. And I like I said, it's not just about vitiligo. I talk about a little bit of everything. But it is really designed to educate people on different topics, but it's through a vitiligo lens.
Thank you so much. I look forward to this every year. So thank you guys for always stopping by, hanging out on the Partice Radio Show. I think we're in year 3 now, Katrina. This year 3 that we've done. We missed 1 year. I think this is the 3rd year. So,
well, thank you. We appreciate your support and having us on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys. You guys go support the North Carolina Vitiligo Facebook page and make sure you check out Mark's podcast as well. Thank you, Mark, also for having me on your podcast.
Well, you're going to have to come back. I'm sure you have some more stories to tell. We got to talk about the airplane flight.
Ooh, I do have some more stories I can tell. So, all right, you guys have a great rest of the day. We're going to get back into some more good gospel music. You guys take care.
Same to
Thank
you.
you. Take care.